Yeah, I want another drink and I want it now.
Welcome to COCBLOK.
Hello, hello.
The coalition of craft beer lovers of Kentucky. I'm Jeff.
I'm Matt.
And this is COCBLOK, the show devoted to discussions of craft beer.
I hope so.
I hope so,
That's
too.
why I came here.
Yeah, what are we doing here anyways?
Yeah.
So, very first show on a
Yeah.
Wednesday afternoon on April something. 12, maybe. And we're here to bring craft beer discussions to the first time ever to Lexington, Kentucky.
Is this really the first
there
time?
has never been a craft beer radio show in Lexington, Kentucky. Is that correct?
Are you sure about that?
No, I'm just making that up. I'm making that up as we go along. I want to claim that as my own, even if I have no proof that that's actually true.
Well, that's the new fact. Unless someone tries to sue us over it, then that is fact.
If someone calls in and no, we did that first, then we'll just.
If somebody calls in, just hang up because I don't know how to use the phone.
I actually don't, and also don't know what the phone number is. So, why don't we just spend a couple minutes talking about what is this show about? Where'd it come from? What is COCBLOK?
Yeah. Well, I guess the idea here is really just to help proliferate craft beer in the craft beer community in Central Kentucky. There are, there's some other shows and there's some other people that are doing it, like in Louisville. They got their podcasts and stuff, and in other cities that craft beer is really just taken off, and people are just trying to keep up. But Central Kentucky in general has kind of been behind, and they're starting to catch up. But we're starting to get a lot more breweries. We're starting to get a lot more traction, a lot more interest. So it's about time that we kind of did a show where we can kind of bring that to the forefront so people know, because a lot of people just don't know.
A lot of people don't know about craft beer.
Honestly, I don't know anything about craft beer, so.
Well, I know. What is craft beer?
I don't know.
I'm not really sure. But a lot of people don't know, even in a town as big as Lexington, 300,000 people, even in the last 5 years with 4 new taproom breweries that have come up and maybe another 2 or 3 on the way.
Yeah.
If you walk down the street in Lexington, Kentucky, and talk to the average person, do you drink craft beer? They probably would say, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, I remember a few years ago when a brewery would start to open, it was big news everywhere. West 6 and Country Boy. I remember when Country Boy Brewing first started opening, I couldn't find it. I don't think anybody could find it.
Nobody knew where it was.
Yeah, Chair Avenue. What is there? There's an avenue named after a chair?
I think that was the first time people in Kentucky even knew there was a place called Chair Avenue.
Yeah, I think I drove by it 2 or 3 times because of just this innocuous warehouse. But yeah, something would open, and everybody would know about it because we didn't really have anything. But now there is stuff opening up, and it's not that people aren't talking about it. I think it's more commonplace, and there's stuff that's coming up that people just don't know about, but they will real soon because it's a lot more happening on the craft beer scene around here now. So
I mean, do you remember when Blue Stallion opened? Were you there on opening night?
I don't know if I was there opening night. Yes, I was.
Slammed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do remember.
That was the 3rd taproom. Absolutely slammed on opening night.
Yeah, incredible. I remember because somebody actually came over and they shook my hand because I checked into their beer on Untapped.
Maybe the very first Untapped.
It was very possible. I don't think anybody else was, and I was like, I felt so nice. It's like, oh, okay. I guess I'll keep doing that. Anyway, so
we've come a long way, baby. And craft beer in Lexington, we're here to talk about it. Talk about probably some other things too, our beards, the restrooms, and maybe some of the places around town.
Jeff's beard is new, so he's always want to talk.
I want to talk about my beard all the time because I'm a beard newbie. I'm since December now, and I feel like I'm one of the club now.
Yeah.
With tattoos. And I got my tattoo. I got my beard.
He was crying in the corner earlier until
I just didn't feel
a couple months ago.
I didn't feel like I belonged.
A tattoo and you got
a tattoo.
Yeah.
Well, one other one you can't see. And then the one you can see.
I want to know about that one. Yeah, we should pull that one out right now.
Yeah.
We are filming this though.
Yeah. This will be on YouTube later.
Yeah.
I feel like Howard Stern right now.
I know, right?
It's being filmed and except that camera's not probably getting me.
Yeah. I think it is.
It is?
Yeah. So what's going on? What's going on around town right now?
So what's going on? Around town? What are the new releases? What has been released? So I know a lot of people were there last Saturday. No, was it last Saturday before? Was it last Saturday before last for the West 6?
The West 6.
So
did you go to that?
Sour release from West 6. I went to that. Did you go?
I went after I heard there was a pretty decent sized line. I'm not a big line waiter, so.
But the line in 10 minutes later was.
I guess,
was gone.
to go through. Yeah. But there's actually I haven't had it yet. I got a bottle of this. What was it? 6-fold sour. I got a bottle of it. It was a little pricey, but it was I like to get these one-offs, and I like to support West 6 also, but they, a lot of people are talking about how good it actually is, but I haven't had it.
So sixfold, I think there's 6 of them right now. 6 different variants of sours, including the raspberry.
Yeah, well, the raspberry was, I guess,
5,
was number 5. So the bottle was number 4.
Wait, was this 4 or 6?
I think the bottle was 4 and the raspberry was 5.
So there are 5 of them.
Yeah.
I think there are 5 of them. The American
And I've had
Farmhouse
some ones I've had on draft in the past,
Right.
and they're pretty good. But
I
everyone's saying this one's amazing.
There was one at the vegan beer dinner that I went to. I did go to a vegan beer dinner.
Did you
at West 6.
really?
I did. And I've had all of them, I think, and they're all been
Is
pretty good.
beer vegan?
There was a vegan beer dinner.
But did you drink beer?
How do vegans compromise on the beer issue? That's a good question. So that's what I want to know. There's yeast in beer.
Yeah. So it's like you're eating.
So you're eating little tiny creatures.
Yeah.
But you won't eat a chicken or a cow, but you eat little tiny creatures that you can't see. Is it just because you can't see it that it's okay?
I'm gonna design a bumper sticker that says "Yeast Matters."
Yeast matters.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Yeast matters.
So yeah, and then start handing out at all these vegan conferences.
I don't think vegans should drink beer.
So that's what I'm asking. Apparently,
No, I'm not
you're
a vegan. I'm not a vegan, but I'll eat vegan food.
You just like to associate with vegans.
I just like food. So if it's good food, I'm gonna eat it.
Okay.
I don't care if it's vegan or vegetarian.
But they were serving beer there at it. So what kind of
course
beer do you serve at a
every-
vegan beer dinner?
So the West 6 and I think they're going to do another vegan beer dinner. The West 6 vegan beer dinner was with Weta, who owns Smithtown, and another individual they brought in. And they had the thing is they were like kind of doing imitation stuff. As I recall, there was a sushi roll without fish in it, obviously.
Okay.
That was paired with one beer. I forget all the beers that they paired them with. This was maybe 2 months ago or so.
Okay.
But I don't really understand how vegans can drink beer. That's the real question.
Because it
for me.
is-
Because they're
Yeast is
alive.
a living. Do you call it an animal?
Well, they're live creatures
I guess.
swimming around in your beer, making
Yeah.
farting and making beer. I mean, that's what yeast does, right? It eats a bunch of sugar.
I don't understand why people
Farts.
don't like beer. It's like so appetizing when you talk about it in detail
In terms of farts?
about just eating live animals that are
leaving-
farting out alcohol.
Yeah, you're eating live animals that fart out alcohol. And if you're a vegan, how do you reconcile that? How do you say, well, look, I'm not going to eat a chicken and I'm not going to eat any kind of dairy product, but I'm going to eat little tiny creatures that are farting into the liquid that I'm drinking?
All right, we're posing that question for next time. We got to
Next time.
find a vegan that drinks beer.
At some point, I think there will be a website maybe or a Facebook page that's separate from another Facebook page that people can pose questions to us or yell at us for talking about farting creatures in the beer.
So, anyways, this beer release over at
So that was a good beer release, I thought.
West Six.
I got a sample of it from Ben himself before it was released, which was really nice of him. Just a little sample.
So, what'd you think of it?
I
I haven't had it yet.
I thought it was really good.
I have a bottle. I haven't had it yet.
I thought it was very good.
Okay.
And I thought the reaction to it in the tap room, where people who were gathered there and having lunch, it was like a brunch, I guess.
Yeah.
Was very good too. People really enjoyed that one.
Okay.
And
Wait, you're talking about the event though, because they didn't have that one on draft.
It wasn't on draft.
No.
So Ben opened up. Was there? I think in the back there were the staff were sharing a bottle, and he said, "Hey, you want to try some of this before it goes on sale?"
Okay, cool.
And so I was one of those lucky few
Like
who
I
got a
said,
tiny little
Try it.
1 ounce pre-taste,
well, it gets,
2 ounce pre-taste.
It gets really positive reviews, so
Yeah, I liked it a
looking
lot.
forward to opening mine. That's the only thing that's going on.
Well, on Saturday, on Saturday I know that there's going to be. If you've been following Facebook, do you follow? You're on Facebook. Right?
I don't know what this Facebook is.
Facebook is a social media application that people enjoy sharing information.
I hear you like
on.
social media. Anyway,
I love social media. It's so great. And on Facebook,
people don't realize Jeff we call him Dr. Jeff. He's a doctor.
I am a doctor.
Basically, social media.
I'm a doctor. If you have any problems, just let me know.
Yeah.
If you have any problems with your social media,
Yeah, he'll diagnose.
I can diagnose what is wrong with your social media.
So what's this other one you're
So
talking
the
about?
other one, which was placed on social media today on a certain kind of website forum, said that on Saturday afternoon at noon there's going to be some amount of barrel-aged jalapeno porter at Country Boy, which sounds
Fantastic.
delicious. Yes.
They've released that though before.
Barrel-aged? Have they done
Right?
barrel-aged?
Am I wrong?
I think
they
barrel-aged?
have. I thought it was one of the ones where they did the hand label, where they wrote Country Boy a long time ago did all their bottles when they first started by hand. They had like a generic label.
Oh, you think it was
They
packaged
stamped-
in a
Yeah, I thought it was
750?
like one of the ones where they stamped it, not the actual label that they.
But a
so
barrel-aged version or just a jalapeno?
I think it was barrel aged. Now they did the habanero bait, which was another pepper beer, which I like. I think that's an underrated beer, by the way. But I think they. I
normally
may
not.
be wrong. I may be wrong.
I'm not a pepper beer kind of guy normally. I'm not
Yeah.
a jalapeno kind of guy, but if it's barrel aged, I think that'll mellow it out a bit.
Yeah.
bring in the barrel characteristics, and I'll enjoy it a lot more.
I'm probably wrong. I'm wrong a lot.
When? Just now?
Never. I'm lying. Yeah, I'm wrong about being wrong.
So that's coming up. I know that I can't say. I got my sources, secret local beer sources that tell me, in all confidence, although so did the brewery, I think a little bit, that Blue Stallion has packaged something.
Oh, really?
In bottles.
Okay. We're talking large format, small format?
They look like 750s.
Okay, 750 milliliter bottles. Cool.
Or 22 ounce, but I think there were 750 bottles. Blue Stallion posted online a picture of a box of packaged bottles.
Nice.
I reached out
say what it was?
into the interwebs to my deep internet beer sources of Lexington, Kentucky to find out what that was. And
Was that you picked up the phone and called him?
No, well, that would have also helped probably. Or I could have just gone over there and asked, hey, what was that picture you guys
exactly.
posted?
Yeah.
But instead, no, I had to use my secret sources, and I found out what it is, but I don't know if I can tell.
Did they not say?
I don't know. I wasn't told if I could tell.
It'll come out. Well, it'll obviously come out soon.
It's a barrel-aged version of something that's been on tap.
Okay, cool.
A barrel-aged version of a barrel-aged version, I think.
Yeah.
Even. So it's double barrel.
Ooh, that's like twice as many barrels.
That's just twice as many barrels.
Well, I want to talk about beer in general on the topic of sours. Sour beers have been a big thing lately, and it's one of the oldest beer styles, honestly, back in, the good old days of Belgium open fermentation. Basically, Belgian brewers would brew their beer, they put it in these giant vats, and they would just leave it open, so all these bugs and stuff get in there, and beer would sour, and that was actually normal. That you'd enter all kinds of like bacteria and stuff into it. But over the past few years, it's gotten a lot more popular, and people are doing, I guess, not wild souring, but more controlled souring, where you
kettle souring.
Yeah, where you actually add, bacteria or lactic acid, which is really popular.
Or yogurt.
Or yogurt.
They do.
It's delicious, like Dannon.
Throw yogurt right in the kettle.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really been taken off. You got old styles like Gozes, which are, you add some coriander and salt in there that are really popular. But there's a hop shortage. I don't know if you're familiar with this. I've been seeing it on a lot of headlines lately, but they're saying that hops are going to be in very, very high demand, and there's not going to be enough to go around, which means people that are making IPAs, or especially these smaller breweries that don't have a lot of clout.
Now, where'd you read that?
On the internet, which is always right.
Did you read that in an English paper on the internet?
No, I saw multiple articles.
I saw one from England.
And there's one from England.
I don't trust that one.
Well, it's probably the same one. Were they talking about how people are going to start relying on English style hops now, since the Americans?
I didn't really read it. I just looked at the headline.
Okay. Well, yeah. So if we're running short on hops, and let's say your go-to beer is an IPA, what do? You've been making this IPA for years or something like that, and let's say you can't get any hops, do you just start using other kinds of hops?
No, we went through this crisis several years ago. I think there was a so-called hop shortage, and there wasn't going to be enough hops for everyone, and everyone was panicking, and the prices were going up, and then suddenly things were fine again. And
you just deal with it?
What did they do? I mean, did people stop making IPAs 5 years ago? They still continue to make them somehow. I think some of the big brewers have so many hops, like Sierra Nevada, that they were and Sam Adams, that they were lending hops out. Really? To smaller brewers.
And yeah, obviously the Sierra Nevadas and the Sam Adams aren't going to have as big of a problem.
They have huge contracts, so they're okay. The smaller brewers have small contracts or even no contract.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are in trouble.
Yeah. Well, 5 years ago and now there's a huge difference. There's a lot more people drinking beer, and there's a lot more beer being made. And I would say it's probably I don't really know how short we're going to be on hops, but let's just say hypothetically speaking. We're going to introduce another little thing of news that a lot of people know about. There's another buyout by Anheuser-Busch for a Devil's Backbone Brewery.
Well, you just jumped from one thing to the other.
Well, I'm tying it in. Yeah, I'm kind of creating this giant puzzle, and I'm just going to do this big reveal at the end. But they've been buying up a bunch of breweries left and right, and they're putting it under this different brand they call. What do we call it? It was called the higher end, right?
The higher end.
Which I think is ironic in and of itself that they're buying other breweries and calling it's their higher end beer when they're...
Which means Budweiser's the lower end.
Exactly right. But anyway, I digress. So they're taking all these private or these small craft breweries. They're saying, we're going to let you be autonomous and do your own thing. Well, that's fine. But they have Anheuser-Busch purchasing power now. So you get, they got 10 breweries, something like that.
Is it 8?
Give or
I think 8.
take, something like that, in this quote-unquote higher-end portfolio. But all these breweries have purchasing power of Anheuser-Busch now. So you got all these smaller breweries that need to ramp up production of stuff like IPAs and hoppier beers, and now they got somebody in their, putting money in their back pocket so that way they can buy all the hops that they need. So
Devil's Backbone is in Virginia.
yes, and I've had some of their stuff.
I think I looked online. I've had 3 beers by them.
I've had 2 or 3.
I don't remember any of them, frankly. Off the top, I'd have to look them up and say.
Well, their go-to is like a lager. It's a Vienna lager, so
Right.
they probably fit right in the AB portfolio.
And
So you add all these together, and now you got this group of breweries that are going to be able to purchase even more hops. And Anheuser-Busch isn't going to lend hops out to mom and pop craft breweries like Sam Adams and Sierra Nevada might. So you take the fact that over the past 5 years, demand has increased, even more so than whatever shortage we had back then. And then you take the fact that Anheuser-Busch themselves is now buying, lots and lots more hops than they were back then for this specific reason. So I don't know.
Well, just to play devil's backbone advocate for a second.
No, I see what you did
I
there.
know.
You're so freaking clever.
The other question is, okay, so what kind of hops are we talking about here? Because there's not one hop, obviously, and InBev is not using one kind of hop.
Well, they probably are, but
Well, I mean, okay, so they're using maybe one kind, but everyone's using something different.
Yeah.
From hops that come from New Zealand, and also hops aren't grown in one place. They're grown in Oregon and New Zealand.
I would suspect it's primarily
Europe.
American style hops.
So we're saying that American. So what are we saying here? Cascade, Citra, Simcoe are now Columbus. There's just not going to be enough of these kind of hops.
I don't know. And I think there's a lot of times you can
Mosaic.
substitute.
I need my Mosaic.
Yeah.
I cannot live without my Mosaic hops.
And I
Some
think
people
you
don't
can
like Mosaic, but I love.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I think Zombie Dust actually did that for a little bit during the first hop shortage.
Really? And that's what I'm kind of
Subbed
curious
out.
of. Do you switch the profile and keep the beer the same?
They sub out hops. They do, and they try to keep the profile as close as possible, but they look for alternative. And I think all the time, anyway, small breweries are always subbing out. They may not always brew with the same hops.
And I guess that's easier when you're a smaller brewery
Yeah.
because you don't have to answer to as much, feedback as somebody that's really big and that's been.
We have to answer to nerd feedback, I guess, which is worse.
Which are so
It's
bad.
the worst feedback is nerd feedback when it comes to something a brewery did. No matter how much they love you, nerd feedback is the worst. I'm surprised sometimes at how bad nerd feedback is.
Well, with the introduction of sours over the past few
Right.
years, and they're getting really popular, it seems like that's kind of a natural segue for breweries to kind of focus on all alternative styles of beer. And sours have been huge now. And I've home brewed, here and there. I'm not a brewer though, so I kind of speculate a little bit. It kind of, occurred to me that I would think that the traditional kind of American kettle sour, controlled sour beer would be cheaper to make than like, your traditional IPA or your stout anyway. I figure, you have fewer ingredients, maybe not necessarily, but you have to put a lot of hops in an IPA to make it taste the way it does.
To make it taste the way I want it to taste.
To make it what taste you want it.
I want no malt. Oh, I want hop water.
You're disgusting. So.
I love it.
And then
hoppier the better.
With stouts, you have a lot of kiln malt. That's what gives its color.
And hops.
And they're typically higher gravity, on average. But so I would suspect that. Well, I guess the sour is going to be cheaper anyway, so that's why maybe we see this big, huge boom in sours. But that's not necessarily the case. I didn't realize that. I was talking to Brandon Floan over at Ethereal Brewing, and he kind of explained to me, well, the sour condition, of the beer that you're brewing is not really that great for yeast to thrive in, the living yeast that vegans eat and lie about.
Right.
So you kind of have to monitor it and make sure that it, over the course of a day or whatever, where you're trying to ferment it, that it actually goes according to plan. So there's other costs involved with doing sour beer. So it's not necessarily cheaper, but there's still...
Well, there's space cost. It has to sit for a while.
Yeah. Well, you get a 5% beer. How much longer is it sitting than a...
Doesn't they have to sit longer than an IPA? Or no?
Yeah, well, yeah, the whole souring process.
There also may be yogurt in it, and then it's really non-vegan.
What is your deal with yogurt?
You've
man?
never heard about yogurt in beer?
No.
There's yogurt in some of your sour beers.
you sure?
I'm positive.
I feel like somebody's spiking your beer.
Have you ever had an off-color?
Like the brewery?
Yeah, the brewery, off-color.
Yeah. Have I had any beer from Off-Color Brewery?
Off-color
Yes.
brewery. It tastes like yogurt.
What?
I think they throw yogurt
You
in
think
there.
they put yogurt in everything?
I think off-color.
Maybe it's just
brews
all infected and they just...
with yogurt.
and everything's
Maybe
just...
Greek yogurt. Because Greek yogurt has live, creatures in it. What is it called?
Probiotics?
Probiotics.
Yeah.
Sorry, English is not my first language. And yeah, I think. But anyways, I mean, so the sour beers are the new IPAs basically. When you see a line of Kentuckians, of Lexingtons, who 4 or 5 years ago wouldn't even drink a Berliner. I don't even know if there were any Berliner Weisses in town 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lining up to buy a quote unquote wild ale.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Yeah,
I mean, that
and
says
at West 6, that was the first
Holy moly.
bottle of sour that they released, and it's getting really.
that's the first
really,
Lexington. No, it's not the first Lexington sour because Country Boy's done them.
Yeah,
That's the first one they've done. People
are raving over it.
sold out in 2 days.
Yeah.
400 bottles, so 400 people, or 200 maybe.
Yeah.
Buying.
So you think if we
200
went-
people with their wives buying for them or their husbands buying for them as well.
Muling, as it were. So
Muling.
if we run out of hops, you think sours are just kind of take over for good, or do you think this is a fad with the whole sour?
Our
beer
bellies will hurt.
thing? My belly already hurts just talking about
My
it.
belly hurts if I drink
All
too
these
much.
live yeast farting in my
I
belly.
think as I get older, I can't drink as much sour as I could 20 years. When I first got into craft beer, not crafting, not making sweaters or anything
Yeah.
like that. When I got into craft beer, maybe 15, 16 years ago or so, when I was in graduate school, Duchess de Bourgogne
yeah.
was
Well, that's still really
one of
good
my
one.
first real introductions, and that's an acidic red wine vinegar kind of sour. And I would love that stuff, drink it up, but I think today my belly, if I drink a whole 750 by myself,
You gotta drink
I
it
regret
slow.
it. Yeah.
That's good.
You're listening to WLXU 93.9, COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky.
Yeah, be sure you get
I
that
know,
right.
I got that right in there. You want to take a quick 15 second, 20
Yeah.
second?
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
it.
so this is the very first time we're going to try to run this. If you're listening right now, you are listening to the
If you hear
very
an
first
explosion, we
ever-
hit a wrong button.
Yeah.
Tune in to DJ Walt C on WLXL, The Time Capsule.
Even when you talk, it takes over me. Just like my love everlasting.
That's right, Lexington. Mondays 4 to 6, right here on WLXL.
Okay, I don't know what that was. I'll be honest, I looked at the board, I saw promo, I hit it. I have no idea which promo I hit. That was an ad for something.
We actually, me and Jeff we're driving around this afternoon, really bored and drunk, and we're like, oh, this building's open, these microphones are on, so we walked in here, and
I know, there's nobody in this building.
I heard some people out there. We locked the door, though.
Oh,
We
yeah.
barricaded it, so they've been trying to get in, but they can't stop us.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody when we got in. There were no guards, there's no dogs, nothing. We just walked right in.
I know. Lights are off.
Lights are off.
Yeah, we hit the big red button, everything powered on.
The coffee machine was on, so we did get a pretty good. They brew a really good cup of coffee here
Whoever does it.
at
Yeah.
WLXU FM, Lexington Community Radio. So I was just on the road. I'm an academic by my. This is my day job, but that's my thing I do on the side. Is I'm an academic, and at UK, and I was in Houston, Texas, for a conference. And one of the benefits about being an academic and going on the road and getting to go to these conferences is you get to try whatever beer's there, because what do people do at conferences? They drink all the time. They're constantly drinking. But the only problem is they only want to drink in one place. When you're at an academic conference, people just want to drink in the hotel bar.
Really?
Oh, it's terrible.
You guys are boring.
Oh my gosh, incredibly. So the most worldly people in the world with PhDs and who can talk about all kinds of worldly matters, they prefer to spend $10 on a Bud Light in the hotel bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really difficult for me to get out and about and see what was there in Houston. Although, if you ever been to Houston?
Yes, I actually have family there.
You have family there. What do you think about downtown Houston?
It's hot. All the time, the whole place.
It's hot, but it's
Yeah.
also
I
it's
can't-
boring. There's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
There was nobody on the street. It was 11, 12 o'clock at night. There was nobody on the streets.
Really?
In downtown Houston. Just a few people here, a few people there. The only breweries I knew that were near where we were staying downtown were Eighth Wonder and St. Arnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Eighth Wonder. Maybe I have.
I hadn't either until I got
Okay.
down there and saw
Okay.
it on tap. Got to neither one. Didn't visit either. So
This is a great story, man.
I know, this is the story.
Everybody stay tuned in. We got more of this.
Being an academic, going to a conference, trying to get to a brew place, a brewery, tap room, something, and nobody wants to take a mile ride in a cab to the brewery. So it's really depressing. But there was a Flying Saucer downtown.
Okay. That gives you some different things to try.
You ever been to Flying Saucer?
Yeah. I went to one in Nashville. I think there's one in Nashville.
I think so. This is a chain.
Lots of taps.
Lots of
different
taps.
beers.
Usually not very good food. But the best beer, which was a beer I actually really wanted to taste and try that I knew about, that when we went into Flying Saucer, finally got my friends to say, okay, fine, we're not going to take a cab to Eighth Wonder. Let's just walk half a mile to Flying Saucer. No, I don't want to go. Let's just go. We're going right now, okay? So, all right, we're going. So I lead, we're going this way. Take everybody. If you're like, I don't know where we're going. And we get there, and it's Lone Pint Yellow Rose.
Yes.
Have you had it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, multiple times.
Oh, that was
I have
good.
A lot of people trade in the beer community. I have a trade partner out there who sent it to me on a.
That is the best Texas
really
IPA
good.
I've ever had. That was very good.
Yeah.
Speaking of hops.
Now that one's actually considered a pale ale.
Is it?
If I'm not mistaken.
So it's categorized as a pale?
Yeah, but it's kind of like Zombie Dust from
Zombies,
Three Floyds, which is
Zombies
a
pale.
really hoppy pale ale.
Pale ale,
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
They're just messing with us.
Yeah. This dude used to send me up growlers of that stuff.
Oh,
and before
fantastic.
they finally started bottling it. But yeah, that's a really good one, man.
That was a tick for me. That was a good tick.
Okay.
I think I tried.
When was this?
This was last week.
Oh, okay.
So I think
you've never had it?
No, that was the first time. So we went to this got everybody to go to Flying Saucer. Fine, we're going to Flying Saucer. I'm not saying that I've had great experiences at Flying Saucer in the past.
Sure.
Really bad meal at one in Kansas City. Mediocre list at one in Memphis. Raleigh was okay. It was a very early experience of mine with craft beer. Was at the Fort Worth Flying Saucer at a conference. Fort Worth. Dallas, Fort Worth. Many, many years ago. I still didn't know a lot, and it seemed really novel and exotic to go in there and see all those beers. Although like half the list is just Leffe or I don't know, Franz and Connor. It's not always
fake craft beer.
Like okay,
Yeah, or stuff that's
If you're a real nerd like me, you'd be like, all right.
Yeah,
I'll pass.
Yeah,
but the good. Yeah, this one had some pretty good Texas beers that I hadn't seen before.
Okay.
Enjoyed it. Some places I never like. What's that? There was another one I never heard of before, which really helps this conversation that I'm telling you about. I've never heard before, and I can't remember what its name is, but it was good. And then there were Eighth Wonder, so we had a lot of Eighth Wonder on tap around town, and all the other hotels in the area, which were really boring and $8 to $10 pours. They did have some Texas beers on, like St. Arnold, not usually exciting stuff. But the other weird thing was because the Final Four had just been the day before. So the finals, the NCAA finals had just been 2 days before we got there. And went to another bar in a hotel across from our hotel. And we said, okay, well, I'll have this. Oh, we're out because of the game.
Out of beer?
We're out of that beer.
Oh,
so we're just going to leave the tap open. So you don't have any kegs in the back? You don't have anything else you can put on? Will you buy one keg or something and then wait a week for the...
That's stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's dumb.
So that was my experience in Houston. I didn't find Houston all that exciting.
I was going to say,
for beer
the moral of the story sounds like don't go to Houston for beer. What's a good place you've gone to for beer?
In Texas?
No, anywhere.
Anywhere in the world?
Yeah. Name a place like anywhere in the world that's good for beer that can salvage the story.
Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago. Everybody around here. I mean, so there's two places that are kind of like the suburbs of Lexington beer nerds, right? Or maybe three. Chicago, Asheville, I guess now Columbus.
You think Chicago's like Lexington?
Like a suburb of Lexington beer nerdery. Meaning,
what?
Beer nerds go to Chicago constantly from Lexington.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like they're either if you turn around and you see where your friends are from Lexington that are into beer.
People go there, yeah.
It's like, wait, so-and-so's back in Asheville again? So-and-so's back in Chicago again?
Yeah, that's true. Well, Chicago is, there's so much going on there. They've got a lot of beer and breweries crammed in, well, I guess it's a big city.
Do you travel to Chicago a lot?
I've been there multiple times, yes.
I think once a year we go.
Once a year?
At least once a year.
Yeah. Actually, I think I went twice last year. Oh, I got a lot of buddies up there, a lot of beer friends and stuff. I'm trying to go to, they have a festival up there every year.
Just one festival?
Yes, just one.
This is the
only one I want to go to. It's called...
Is the Hot Dog Festival?
Yeah, Nathan's Hot Dog Festival.
Hot Dog.
It's called the Festival of Barrel-Aged Beers, or FOBAB.
Oh, yeah.
And I've tried to go like 2 years in a row. And then like it rolls around, I think, in November. In both years, I'm like, I'm going to go this year. And someone texts me like, oh, hey, we're at FOBAB, we're trying this. And I'm just like, son of a bee, I forgot it. I literally just forget every single time. So I actually have... all my friends in Chicago, I sent them reminders to send me a reminder to get tickets when they go on sale, but I'm going to go this year.
I think I was there last time on the tail end of that, meaning I didn't go to the festival, but I went to Haymarket a day or two later. Everything was still on. And Haymarket,
Really?
you ever been to Haymarket? You don't? Do you know where that is? Mm-mm. You don't know where Haymarket Pub is? Mm-mm. It's in that.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah. Mm-mm. Okay. It is in that. What is the name of that little area where there's all those restaurants and Girl and the Goat, and which is my favorite restaurant in the United States, and Little Goat, which is its smaller diner version across the street. And there's tons of little hipster. It's really totally hipster area. But Haymarket was there first, and it's right in a corner on one of those streets. It's an old school Chicago brew pub with food and da 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 da. And I think overlooked for some of the really good stuff they do. And they had
do they brew there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I've had their beer. Well, I've had was it Claire's Thirsty Raspberry? You ever had that?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I've had that a few times. That gets really good reviews up there, and it's from Haymarket. I didn't realize it's the same place. Well, my problem is every time I go to Chicago, I'll meet friends or something, and somebody else is driving, and I have no idea where we are. Unless we end up at like a Goose Island, which
I'm usually driving
a few times
because I'm there with my wife and
because everybody,
two kids.
all your academic friends want to walk or stay at their hotel.
Well, my kids are too young to drive. They're only 8 and 5.
Well, you're only saying that because they've never tried.
They haven't. They did try once.
Yeah.
They got in the car and they did try it. It didn't.
I hope no police are listening to this.
They didn't back out the driveway. It didn't work out. Well, yeah. I mean, when we do drive, we go to Revolution. We go to Peace.
Revolution's great. Have you been to both? They have 2 locations up there.
No.
Right? Yeah,
I've
they have
only
2
been
locations.
To the brew. Is there one more than the brew pub?
Well, the one I think it's on North Kedzie. That I think most people go to.
Right. It's the restaurant.
They got all. I don't even think it's not a restaurant.
Then I've been to the other one.
Okay, yeah, they got tons of barrels just out in the open. It's a good joint.
I usually get there because I go with my family, so we go to eat to dinner. It's like 5:00 in the afternoon, and so we can park right out front. There's no problem parking.
Yeah, that's the same with this one. Yeah. But the new Lagunitas up there.
Oh, you've been there?
Oh yeah, that place is crazy. It's so trippy.
There's a tap room.
Yeah, it's like a huge warehouse, and then you walk in and they start playing. Was it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory music, like the theme song? I guess like when they're at, in the movie
when you walk in, the song is playing.
Yeah, you walk in and it's the song from the beginning of the movie where they are in that big
Oompa Loompa.
Yes, no, I can't remember what it's called. You're distracting me now, but it's where like the chocolate water fountain and like the grass is made of candy and everything. You walk in and they have like all these lights just like flashing and it's like strobe. Like if you had epilepsy, you probably
Wait, this is the whole tap room or just like a
no.
corridor?
This is when you walk in. This is a corridor. This is how they lead you in. Like I mean, their whole brand is trippy and that everyone was probably high when they actually.
It's all based on weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But you walk in this long corridor, and then you actually have to go upstairs to the second floor, and they have a restaurant, they have a gift shop, they have a bunch of catwalks. You can just walk over and just like watch everything being made.
Oh my god!
And it's just a huge
what is this,
open warehouse,
like a playground?
Basically, yeah, it's like Disneyland for.
I should have gone. I guess I thought. Last time I was out there.
Well, everybody gets Lagunitas. You don't think about it, but it's a fun experience.
Anything special on tap?
They usually have like a one-off, like every week or every day or something like that.
I need more than one special.
They had a Hoppy Brown.
I'm a special boy. I got to get one more than one special thing.
Special, yeah.
When I show up at
your mom keeps telling you.
I know. She won't talk to me. When I show up at a place, I need a few new ticks.
Yeah. Anyway, Chicago's fun.
Chicago's great. Last time I was there, I went to a place called Dry Hopped.
I've never been.
I think it's called Dry Hopped. Little kind of brew pub, really tiny. I tell you what neighborhood it is, but I forget. But I don't see a lot of tap rooms when I'm up there. So I've been to Local Option, this place, Goose Island, obviously. But a lot of these places like Spiteful, Pipeworks, Microphone, which I guess is moving out of Chicago. There's no tap room, right? You can't go hang out.
Yeah.
You can't hang out at Pipeworks.
Yeah. I try to find... I've never actually been to Pipeworks, which is kind of sad.
But you can't go anywhere in Pipeworks, can you?
I don't know.
I don't think there's a tap room.
Okay. It's very possible. Yeah. There are beers everywhere, though. I tried to find some... Last time I was up there, I tried to find some kind of lesser-known breweries, like on the outside of the city or even the suburbs. And, you go further south, and there's 3 Floyds in Indiana and 18th Street right next to it in the armpit of Indiana in Gary.
Solemn Oath is in the suburbs. Like Napier.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I found one. It's actually in Illinois. It's called One Trick Pony.
Yeah, One Trick Pony, right?
Yeah. I went to go check them out of curiosity. Me and my wife were there, and we needed something to do. And I texted my buddy Derek up there, and I was like, hey, tell me about this brewery. And he said they're pretty cool. I don't even know if he said he'd been, but he said who's the hockey team in Chicago? Blackhawks? Mm-hmm. He said, like, I guess if Blackhawks win a championship title, whatever you call it in hockey, that I guess they all go there and they party and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll check this place out.
But you didn't see them.
No, they weren't there. Yeah. I don't know anything about hockey, obviously. I know you hit a home run in hockey and it's like 3
A bunch of
points.
guys come in with their teeth missing.
Yeah.
Really big.
Exactly.
They're probably hockey players.
Yeah, but that venue is actually really cool. I don't know if you've been there, but they got like all kinds of. It's real kind of a cozy rustic setting. Lots of wood everywhere, similar to I guess Blue Stallion, but a little bit more like antique-y. And they got games everywhere you can play. And they had this bottle release for this barrel-aged old ale. And I tried it there, and I thought it was so good. I brought it home, and it was like the worst beer I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's actually a sad story.
That's a great
One
story.
Trick Pony's a fun place to visit, but
But don't buy the beer.
the barrel-aged old ale was really bad.
Yeah, I brought 4 bottles back from Houston. From what's it called? Something Bayou. And then another one I never heard about. And I won't even say the name. It starts with an R. I never heard of them. It was an Imperial IPA. It was terrible. Yeah, I felt there's $10 I'll never get back.
What I want to know is when people are going to start coming to Central Kentucky for beer, or Lexington or whatever.
They do. No?
I don't think it's. I mean, it's not.
Those
really,
West Virginia guys come down to Country Boy releases.
Well, there's nothing in West Virginia though.
No.
I think
Chance to get out of town.
I think we have a lot of potential around here in Lexington to be. We can be a hub for all things craft, you know. But you look at a place like Asheville, and you mentioned Asheville. There's a lot of beer nerds that go out there, and I've been going there for years. It's a fun place. There's so many similarities between them and us, and I think if it's something that we all focused on here. I'm talking about the city. They actually emphasized beer production and breweries in town and opening new ones. I think this could become a tourist destination for craft beer.
This is WLXU 93.9.
I like how you get all sexy.
You are listening to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers in Kentucky. I agree, 100%. And we already got horses. Why can't we have horses in beer?
Yeah, and we got bourbon.
Why can't we have horse beer?
Yeah, well, there's a horse piss beer.
That's by
Used to be BBC.
BBC, yeah.
I don't know which branch of BBC it is, but
It's not that great.
no. Well, we got bourbon.
We have bourbon. We have
should,
bourbon
honestly.
tours. They have the Brewgrass.
We should be like
thing.
the mecca for bourbon barrel aged beer because 99% of whatever bourbon comes out of Kentucky. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I
think we're gonna do. We'll do a quick break.
Okay.
Because we only did one break, and if we don't do another break,
you're gonna get dry mouth really bad.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashley Smith from the Lyric Theater, and you're listening to WLXL LP FM Lexington Community Radio.
Okay, we're back on WLXU 93.9. Are we the very first show on?
Oh, on this radio station?
On this radio station, 93.9 is the new station, as opposed to the other station where some famous guy is.
We're gonna be the first
guy is
the
doing
first
a show
and
right
the
now.
last show.
This might be the last show.
Yeah, the whole station shut down after we aired.
I think all the beer nerds are gonna call in and yell.
Everything they said is wrong.
They're already saying terrible things about us on Facebook.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've been used to that though.
This is COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. Where are we now? So we were talking about Lexington could be Asheville.
Yeah, I think Lexington has the potential to be a huge tourist destination for people, and I think beer could be a huge draw for that. But I don't know. It just you kind of get the sense that the state or the even the city doesn't really see it.
I don't think the city sees it. We have 4 tap rooms, and now it sounds like there's gonna be 4 more.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for Life, the brew pub, to open on Richmond Road. Mm-hmm. We're waiting for Rooster to get its new thing up and going with
Over on
Gastronomes,
Manchester? Yeah.
and the Gastronomes is right next door, actually, in the next studio, doing Dan Wu's show right now.
Okay, yeah.
We could bang on the wall.
I know. I'd be like, get over here.
Talk about this new thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a Mirror Twin.
Mirror Twin.
Which is going to have rolling oven inside of Mirror Twin.
Is it?
They posted that the other day. I guess that's down by National Provisions somewhere over there. They're doing a brewery. And maybe another one. So this town's rocking, man.
I'm just here for the coffee.
Dude, that would be 8 breweries. And then the original brewery has no tap. The original brewery in Lexington, Kentucky, the one that was here first,
Talking about Alltech?
has no tap room.
Yeah.
Except, I guess, if you're at the airport. I don't know if that's really a tap room. It's just...
No. Now, why is that?
Why don't they?
I've heard somebody from there saying that they're not allowed to. There's a legal reason why they can't, which...
Because they make too much.
Maybe? Is that what it
Maybe.
is?
There is a barrel. They just raised the barrel limit on how many barrels. Well, I don't know if it's been finally approved. There was that Senate bill
For micro... Wait,
here,
what are you talking about?
here in Kentucky. There was a recent issue. There was a recent bill, and I wasn't, like all news items, I don't pay entirely attention. I just read the headlines.
Yeah.
But that they were raising the barrel cap so that you could continue to sell at your tap room. So there's a limit. You can only, I don't know if it's 50,000 or 40 or whatever it is. You can only produce so much beer and still sell beer on premise.
Do you think they would benefit from even having a tap room?
I do.
Do you really?
I think they would benefit if they had a tap room that did different stuff. Look, whatever I think about Alt-Tech beers or don't think about Alt-Tech beers, I mean, they obviously sell beer.
Yeah.
They sell beer in many states.
Seems like they sell a lot of beer.
They sell a lot of beer.
They sell beer in a lot of countries.
They sell beer in other countries. So it's not like people don't like their beer.
I have Untapped friends in Brazil checking into Bourbon Barrel Ale, and I was like, I had no idea
they're getting Bourbon Barrel Ale in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I had no idea. So they got a huge footprint. And it seems to me that, they got the philosophy that a lot of larger breweries have, and you need to spread as wide and far as you can. So it would.
But have you ever
seem
heard
to
of a
be-
brewery without a tap room?
a what?
A brewery? A craft
Not having
brewery that doesn't have a tap room. I've never
Well,
heard
they
of such
don't-
thing. I guess at
They're
that
probably
size.
only a craft brewer.
I don't mean a craft brewery in general, but I mean at that size. I mean, there's obviously a lot of small breweries that don't have tap rooms, and
Yeah.
we just said in the Chicago area. But someone of that magnitude who says, "Well, I don't really care if you come over here and drink beer."
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's probably their outlook. I don't think they care about the individual experience. I think they want to get as much out there as they can, which is good for them. I
guess
that's fine. I don't care, but yeah, I think they want to get as much out as they can, sell as much wide and far, and just get those numbers.
I guess I would think the individual experience would be we'd have a little setup. We do a couple one-offs. You could come in. We generate a little more enthusiasm in the local crowd. But no, I mean even West Six is going to open a time. I mean what? 2 miles away, is going to open a tiny little nano brewery downtown on Main next to the Sunrise Bakery. It's not like you can't go the extra 2 miles to get to the tap room.
No. And I think what helps with the smaller craft breweries is that that's your primary, source of revenue when you first start is selling from the brewery.
And branding.
Yeah, and branding, exactly right. So that's, for the West Sixths and the West Sixths
Can you
and
say
the Country
the TH
Boys.
part?
Yeah, apparently not. And the Country Boys and the the Ethereals and stuff. That's how you get started, and that's where your roots are. So there's a lot of intrinsic value there, along with regular value.
Plus the tap room, though, it's a space of community. It's a space of coming together. It's a space of Saturday afternoons. It's a space for families now, at least in the afternoon, on the weekends. Like
Whether it's legal or not, but yeah,
it's legal. It's legal. I think there's a brewery in Louisville that doesn't understand. It is legal. You can have families in your tap room. But regardless, it's a space of congregation, of community. And it's very ironic that this one brewery, who's been here first, seems to not be interested in the community gathering, coming together aspect of craft beer.
I think it makes sense to me.
It does.
It seems outside the scope of their business.
It doesn't
plan.
bother you.
No,
No.
I don't think it does. Honestly, I think it's obvious it's outside the scope of their business plan, and they don't really care to focus on the community around this area unless it benefits them
But doesn't it seem
directly financially.
Like they're the weird kid who stays outside of the club. Like they're so okay, come on in. Oh,
yeah,
forget it. We're gonna stay over here.
I don't even think they want to be in.
They don't want to be in the club.
I don't think they want to
care.
be in a club. They're only in. This doesn't have to necessarily have a negative connotation, but I think they're only craft brewery by definition.
You don't think
I don't. Yeah, because
You
of
don't think
like
by quality.
the barrel, capacity and how much they actually sell. They got big bear mentality that they want to be the the next Miller Coors, the Anheuser Busches, and that's their game plan.
Yeah.
Does Anheuser Busch have a tap room?
I don't know. I've never been to one of the Anheuser Busches.
I haven't either.
I never did a tour.
No.
I've never done a tour of any of those big breweries.
I actually hear that the Budweiser tour is really cool.
Is it?
Yeah,
You get
go.
samples.
I'd go for the sample of Budweiser.
But they have a small little experimental production brewery, which would probably be the better place to go and visit if you were at one of the
a brewery or a division.
at one of the Anheuser. I don't know which one. One of their Anheuser Busch. I don't know if it's St. Louis or whatever. They have a bunch of breweries across the country.
Yeah.
But they do small batch experimental stuff. They just don't sell it.
Yeah.
Like unless you go to Savor or one of these big events where you can, or maybe even JBF. I think maybe then you can get a chance to taste something that no one else would get to taste from.
Yeah.
From Anheuser Busch.
Have you had some Anheuser Busch one-offs?
I have not.
Oh yeah, I
No,
can.
I have not.
Yeah.
I've heard about them, so it's a myth. It's a rumor.
I read an article like last year of one of those people that was brewing like the small batch stuff, trying to come up with like new recipes. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was a girl, and I believe she was the one that came up with, or they put her in charge of coming up with the platinum, the Bud Light Platinum or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's what she came up with?
Well, I don't know. That's what she actually came up with. But she
what's
did
special about platinum? I don't know.
Maybe we should start a big beer show. He asked me what's special about platinum. I'm just shaking my head. But yeah, according to a lot of people that had actually tried some of their stuff, supposedly they make some pretty good one-off stuff. But I guess if it's not, if it's not financially feasible for them to do it on like a massive scale, I guess they just abandon it because, everything they do is in balance with how much money they're going to make off of it. Whereas with a small operation, like you have a small brewery in central Kentucky, it's a more romantic notion. It's like, let's throw as much crap in here as we can. Let's just make it as good as we can. Let's not look at the cost until it gets to that point.
I think back in the day, that was the purpose of Michelob. That's where Michelob came from, right? Because they were the supposed high end.
Was it?
Of Anheuser-Busch, and that's where. So Mitch Steele, who's now one of the head brewers at Stone.
Yes, well, he's the head brewer.
At Stone. That's where he got his start.
Okay,
that's where he used to work, anyways.
Before
he went to Stone, he worked for Anheuser-Busch, and I think he designed. I forget, there was all those weird faux craft or crafty, what we call now crafty, I guess, because they came in and out of Anheuser-Busch. But he designed a lot of those beers that they were doing back then, under the Michelob label. But then, under, all those weird things we don't remember that used to be Anheuser-Busch beers.
Yeah,
but they had all those craft names to them.
Yeah,
I don't know, Red Dog or something. Not Red Dog, but something like that.
Oh, I do remember.
I don't think it was Red Dog though. Somewhere. I've seen him post. I've seen him post on Facebook old bottles and labels of stuff that he put together.
Yeah. What's the first beer you've ever had?
Ever in my life?
Yeah. I guess the first one you remember.
That's how. Man, that's how I want to start the show today.
Oh, it's too late now.
I know it's too late. So we're at the end of the show, and I realized now. I was thinking yesterday. What would be a good way to start the show? What was the first beer you ever? Well, and
I can't remember the first beer I ever had. I think I was like 8.
I wasn't that young. No, you were 8. Wow.
Yeah, I think my mom gave me beer.
You guys a family of alcoholics?
Well, we are now. So. The tie that binds.
But one of the things that interests me about the first time stories is that a lot of people have very similar first time stories, including brewers. When I read a lot about brewers saying their first time story, or when I hear other people saying their first time, like when was the first time you had a beer, it's almost always, I was in the yard working with my dad, it was hot, or we were mowing the lawn, and he handed me a lager.
Yeah.
And it tasted cool and refreshing. That's maybe not be yours, but that's actually mine too. My dad used to let me take a sip of his Heinekens. Heineken was the big deal.
Yeah.
He liked Heineken.
Yeah.
He's not even a beer drinker. But Heineken was fancy.
Obviously.
Yeah, it was imported. It was elegant. And so that was my first experience.
Okay.
And then I remember when I was in, I think when I was in college, I would come home and my mom would have a 6-pack of Moosehead in the fridge.
Oh.
For me. Moosehead seemed really
Canadian.
exotic. Yeah, that was a big deal. I was like, ooh, man, that's my favorite beer.
Straight from Canada.
Yeah, that was my favorite beer when I was probably 17 or 18 years old.
Moosehead, huh?
Moosehead.
I can't remember my first one. Yeah, mine wasn't as chivalrous as yours. I think I was a kid and my parents had a bunch of friends over and they're like, oh, it'd be funny. Let's give the baby some beer and see how much he hates it. And I'm like, oh, and they're all like laughing and smoking cigarettes and throwing cocaine in my face. So.
What part of Kentucky? Eastern?
I'm like right next door. Right. What's the first, okay, well on this topic then, what's the craft beer that got you into craft beer?
Yeah. So what I remember, two different stories. I was in graduate school in Gainesville, Florida, and a buddy said to me, hey, let's go down to Micanopy, which is a town like about 20 minutes south, and there's a home brewer party, and let's go to that, and come with me, and we'll go to that and all this. So we said, okay, fine. And so there was a little Quickie Mart on the way. He said, let's stop. This place has really good beer. Let's stop. And so we went inside, and there were all kinds of beers I'd never seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know what they were. So I used to go and buy a case of just some crappy lager or whatever, Ice House. Yeah. That was my thing. But and I like beer, but there was like Tucker and, things like that I had never heard of. And he's just grabbing bottles. I'm like, all right, I don't know, just grab some bottles. We'll take them down there.
Yeah.
And I wish to this day I knew even what was shared at this homebrewer event, because there was so much beer shared and I had no clue what any of it was.
But was it all homebrewed stuff?
No, there was homebrewed stuff, but then there were people opening, just like we do today, opening bottles. So this was probably like 1997 or so, and there were people opening bottles of stuff. And I think in those days in Gainesville and Florida, we would have gotten Flying Dog was out.
Could have had like a Sam Adams
Stone,
triple box.
probably Sam Adams, yeah. And then I remember a couple years later, a year or two later, going to the Map Room in Chicago, and that's where I drank Duchess for the first time, and that blew my mind. Like, what is that? Yeah,
that's interesting. So the one that turned you around was a sour.
Yeah,
that's weird. That's not a lot of people's story.
What's the one that turned you around?
It was a pale ale. It was
Sierra Nevada?
Yeah. The first craft beer that I can remember having was actually Modite from Unibrew.
Right.
And that was a long time ago, but I remember trying it and kind of thinking it was gross, and kind of, my wife and I, my girlfriend at the time, we were like, let's get a bottle of wine and be all romanticized and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, here would be fun. Let's try like a random beer. And they had the real fancy cork and cage. I didn't know beer could have a cork and cage. And we both tried it, and she said it was gross. And I was like, it's okay. I could probably get used to this, but it was interesting. But
how old were you?
Like 12. Something like that.
You were 12 and you had a girlfriend?
Yeah, right.
And drinking cork and cage?
Well, my first one was when I was 8, so
damn,
I get around that.
Damn, Daniel.
But we went, me and her family went on vacation in Georgia on the coast. And this, his boss at the time was really wealthy, and he let us stay in this really nice place that was way over our heads. We were completely out of our element. And we're on this private island in Georgia, and we went out to get something to eat, and I was like feeling all frisky. Normally I'd get like what I thought was fancy, it'd be like an Amstel Light. And I was like, I'm going to do what the locals do. And I got a Sweetwater 420.
Oh, Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember trying it, and I was like, hey, this is really good. And I had no idea, what, like how hops and malt and all the different ingredients played into beer. So I knew I tried it, and I got a very potent grapefruit kind of flavor, which comes from the hops. And it was funny because not long after that, I started a beer blog, and which I don't do anymore, but it was like one of those things that it just like keeps like gnawing at the back of your brain. I'm like, what the heck was that? And I started like doing some like half cocked research, and
it's like your first time for real. Like, what was that?
Yeah, like
man?
trying
Ooh,
to actually trying to figure it out. I've had some different things, but nothing that actually piqued my interest. And it was hilarious because there was at one point in time, I thought the grapefruit bitterness that came from beer was derived from rye malt. And I was like, that's got to be what it is, because I had a...
But you didn't know beer.
No, not at all. This is my introductory learning. You know what I mean? This is when I first tried to start figuring it out. And, it's funny when I think back on it, how stupid that really is. But, it's been a process, and, 10 years later or whatever, I still don't know what it is.
I think the other thing for me was the question of price, because when I went back to Gainesville from Chicago and I wanted to drink Duchess, and you could buy it on the shelf.
Yeah.
But it cost about, I don't know, $10 or $12. And I thought, and at that time in my life in grad school, or even just my mentality of beer prices, I just thought that's way too much money. So if I bought a bottle, it was a huge extravagance. It was like, I had just, that was a great semester. I'm going to get a bottle of Duchess. And like, oh my God, you're buying a $10 bottle of beer?
Yeah. What's your problem?
Problem. Of course, today we drop.
Yeah.
So we can drop $10 in 12-ounce bottles and not think
God, yeah. Don't remind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife reminds me all the time. I don't need you to remind me too.
That's about how much we spend?
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids' college fund is mostly spent already.
Yeah. I hope they can get scholarships.
Yeah, they better be smart.
Yeah.
Or, if they go to UK, it's half off. So
yeah, I hope there's a scholarship for brewing.
At least until Matt Bevan takes that away.
There you go.
Yeah. So this has been COCBLOK, Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky.
When you say it slow like that, it's so creepy.
Because
especially when you emphasize lovers, and then you look at me and you start stroking your beard.
We've had our moments. I mean, we don't need to talk about today. We could talk about it next time. Some of the things that have gone down.
Yeah. That'd be the R-rated show.
Yeah. So I guess we're coming to the end of our show. It was a first show.
Yeah.
We've said a lot, probably too much. What would you rate this show?
Like out of like 5 caps.
5 caps. The 5 caps.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Cheesy.
Well, we'll probably get booted out of here.
You get a 1, a 2.
Yeah. We still got people banging on the door trying to get in.
I think the next show is outside.
Yeah.
So
we need to start doing some. I want to start doing some on location stuff.
We will. We'll do on location.
We'll have one show where we're really drunk every month.
If you think like, I don't want to listen to these two guys all the time, don't worry, because we'll have some guests in here.
If anybody wants to come in.
Yeah, anybody wants to come in, just let us know.
I saw a guy in the corner asking for change. I'm going to bring him in here next time.
Oh, yeah, that guy might be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him too.
He's got a beard.
Over on Limestone?
He's got a beard.
Yeah. We'll talk about beards, a lot about beards.
Yeah.
I'm not done talking about beards,
Yeah.
Lexington. I got a beard and I want to say something about it.
He's got a beard and a tattoo, and he's like a different person.
Beard, yeah, it gets right in my mouth all the time.
Yeah.
So I guess we're done. And this was the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. I'm Jeff.
I'm Matt.
And you've been listening to WLXU 93.9 Lexington Community Radio.